Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you've been well. Crazy weather out here in Colorado today. I live up in the mountains in Colorado, and today it snowed like 10 inches. But it's gonna be pretty sunny and warm for the rest of the week, I think, so hopefully it all melts off. Anyway, in my last video, I think I mentioned, or in my last video or the video before, that I was gonna do a video on kind of the most popular EDC wallets. So I do EDC videos from time to time, and in one of my EDC videos a while back, I was looking for a new wallet. I asked for recommendations. 3 companies stood out as far as people were recommending them the most. It was Trayvax, Ridge Wallet, Flipside Wallet, and there were a bunch of other wallets too. Hellbent, and some others. But anyway, those 3 kind of stood out, and they were the ones that interested me the most. So I picked those 3 wallets up. And I already reviewed the Ridge, so I'll be talking about this one at the end. And then this other company actually sent me out this wallet called the Fantom that I thought was kind of interesting, so I'm going to throw that in the mix. So I'm only going to be talking about those 4 wallets today, and that's it. I'll talk about other wallets in the future probably, because there's hundreds of wallets out there, so I'm not going to cover them all in one video. So feel free to recommend other wallets in this video, but don't bash me for saying, oh, why didn't you put such and such wallet in? I didn't, so deal with it. So let's get into these 4 wallets. I'll kind of talk about the features, and the reason I'm doing these 4 are because they're popular, but they're all different enough to make them different. You know, some are going to appeal to some people, some are going to appeal to other people, and the functionality kind of is here and there. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of talk about each wallet, the features, the things I like about them, the things I don't like about them, and by the end of the video you'll have a pretty good feel for these 4 wallets and maybe can choose one. I'll link to them below, and I'll link to anything else that I talk about in the videos below as well. We'll just go ahead and get into it here. I'm using kind of a new overhead system, so if I'm like going out of the frame one way or the other, my bad, and just be patient with me. So first we're going to be talking about the Trayvax wallet. This is the Trayvax Axis. It comes in a variety of colors. This is in the OD Cerakote. I didn't even know until after I bought this, but the guys that I like using for all my gun custom Cerakote, Mad Custom Coating, they actually do the Cerakote on this. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting thing. This wallet also made in the USA. This wallet also probably was the most recommended wallet from you guys in the comments. So it's a minimalist wallet made out of kind of cool tactical gear, metal and paracord and nylon and little button things, and has some holes. Some of the models have bottle openers built in. This one does not. But anyways, when I first kind of saw these wallets, I looked at them and I was like, they look really cool for sure, but practicality, they just seem kind of clumsy and cumbersome, and it's not really for me. I'm more of just like a minimalist that likes a wallet that just is super clean. Like the Ridge really is the epitome of minimal wallets, and that's why I liked it. But anyways, I thought I would give this a go because it looked cool, and you know, after using it for a while, it's not that much of a pain to use really. Not as cumbersome as I thought it would be, though also not the easiest to use of the bunch. So I'm just gonna kind of get into some features here. This wallet is supposed to be RFID blocking, or resistant rather, but I'm not really sure how, because as you can see, is wide open in the front here, and it's also wide open in the back here, so the cache is kind of blocking it, but this is just a metal border. My thought is, so some cards will have your chip there, and this does line up to that chip, this little spot. So maybe you need to have it in that orientation for it to be RFID resistant, and then if you have it in, say, this orientation with the chip visible, it is no longer RFID resistant. Maybe, I'm not sure, I'm just speculating there. I probably should have reached out and asked, but I didn't. So a couple other exterior features of the wallet here. So we have this paracord with this little adjuster. This really isn't used for anything. This little slider, rather. This is like a rigid loop here. You could do something like attach a little carabiner to it, something like this little mini carabiner. I'll link to these. I bought like a 12-pack of these, and they're so handy. Not load bearing, obviously. But you could hook a carabiner or something up to that, or you could hook a carabiner up like this and use it that way if you want to. So a couple different lashing options if you aren't going to carry your pocket, or if you aren't going to carry your wallet in a pocket. Also, I've been using these little clips for various things. You could put a little key ring on here and put that on there and then hook this to things like that too. So if you're into that, this is the only wallet of the bunch that kind of has those features that you can like hook to. I don't think most people are, but just I thought it was worth mentioning. So the closing mechanism of this is this fold over thing right here, that it kind of is like a button that goes into this little hook type thing. So it's not an actual button, it just kind of lashes over and kind of hooks onto this like hook, so to speak. So I thought that this would come loose. I thought this was a bad design, but using it never comes loose. So fine design, and my worries never came to fruition, I guess. So we do have, I misspoke earlier, we do have a little bit of metal running up here. This is theoretically to kind of like put your money onto, and your cash will kind of go like that. And that's kind of how you can carry cash in here if you want to. There is also this flap. This flap opens up. This flap actually does have a little opening in here that is closed on the bottom. So if you wanted to, you could slide a key or something in there to hold it, or maybe some change or anything like a little SD card or something would fit in here if you want to use it. This wallet also is the only one of the bunch that kind of has this little pocket feature by default. So that's kind of neat. And then this folds over. You could also put your cash in here if you wanted to, but it would kind of just be loose and flopping around when you open the wallet to use it. So anyway, the main portion of the wallet here that holds your cards is this little part here. So you kind of get it to the right size. You get your cards in here, and you can tighten this up here to adjust basically to how many cards you're gonna hold. So this basically, once you tighten it or loosen it, pretty much stays put how it is, and then that will provide some resistance so your cards don't fall out just by themselves, but you can slide them out. So getting cards here isn't the easiest, but you can kind of fan them out and then say, oh, I want to use this one, or fan them out and say, oh, I actually want to use this red one. Typically, for me, I put my most used card in the front and then just get it out like that. So not a big deal to do that. Though again, the system for getting into here is taking that off and then sliding that out. And you gotta make sure your cash doesn't fall out when you're doing all of that. So from a usage point of view, isn't as clumsy as I thought it would be, but you know, some of these other wallets we're gonna talk about are definitely a little easier to use. So cool option, definitely one worth looking into, especially I think this is the coolest looking wallet. All of their designs actually I think are pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, it does have, you know, extra dangly things and kind of protrusions here, so those are to note. But yeah, if you're into kind of looks and minimalism, this is a good option. Made in America and relatively inexpensive kind of for what it is. I think these run about $50. And I forgot to mention, this does have a wide range of cards that it can accommodate. So I think it'll hold, you know, from a few cards up to, you know, 15 plus cards. So it is expandable. And if you do carry a lot of cards, your cards fluctuate a lot, this is definitely an option that will be able to handle that. And also, since this one is a little bit more flexible and no like hard edges or anything like that, it can accommodate things that are larger than your typical card. So something like, say, my fishing license is a little bit bigger than a card. It will still be able to fit in to here. If you need to carry something like that, business cards, whatever, that are a little bit bigger than a credit card, this will be able to handle it. Some of the other options won't be able to handle something like this. So the next interesting option, also made in America, is this wallet called the Flipside. It comes in a variety of colors. I opted for the orange because this is kind of a wallet that maybe I could see myself using when I travel more or less, and I would like a nice bright wallet so I don't leave it on a table, so I can see if somebody like snatches it from me or something like that. So they do have other more tactical designs, black, gray, kind of a military green color. So some options out there if this orange isn't for you. Obviously the orange isn't really the orange I was hoping it was. It's kind of more of a red orange, so take that for what it is. This wallet, the Flipside 4, has kind of these modular attachment points. So this is like a little thing that can clip onto this. So then it expands the functionality of the wallet to have more functionality than just the base wallet without this accessory. So this accessory, you know, you could put stuff in here like your fishing license or some cash or some extra cards or whatever. They have a few different kind of things like this that attach on to here. So the modularity is kind of interesting, and it's kind of a unique feature to this card, to this wallet rather. So these things just pop off, obviously, if you want to be a little more trim. So this wallet isn't going to be the thinnest because it is kind of, you know, protects your cards on the inside, and you'll see the mechanisms as soon as we open it here, kind of why it's a little thicker than your other options. So the Flipside flips open. So it's a nice mechanism if you need to access your cards. This is really the most usable wallet of the bunch. This is going to be your easiest to use, especially if you're using cash a fair amount, or if you're using a variety of different cards that you're going to need to get out and access fast. So this opens right up and you just thumb your card out like that. Very easy. So if you keep card here or here, or you want to get to the other card behind, you can do so. Nice, works really well. These cards aren't going to fly out. Sorry, this thing does open. These cards aren't going to fly out if you put one card in here, two cards in here, whatever. I think this wallet does hold like 8 or so cards total if you want. So I think you can fit like 3 or 4 in each of these. And then this one where you flip open, this one is just a single card you can put in there. So these slots, basically the ones you get to when you first open, these can handle multiple cards each. You flip this over one more time and you have another card here, and then you kind of have your cash slot here. So this cash is a little more usable because you can kind of thumb through and say, oh, you know, I need to pay with Jamaican currency for this one. And without having to take all your other bills out, you can say, okay, I'm going to flip to this, I need this, and you can just pull that right out and keep your other bills in there, and you'll be good to go. Sorry, I was fidgeting with that and knocked it out. So then you can get that out really nice and really easy. So that's, you know, functionally this wallet is really, really slick. I don't like the looks of it, you know, as much as something like the Trayvax, I think looks a little more cool or tactical or whatever. But as far as function is concerned, this is great. Probably has the best RFID blocking of the bunch. Has these, I think, special aluminum inserts here that just give your cards full protection. And everything is just really secure. You put this thing in, nothing, your cards aren't going to fly out, your cash isn't going to fly out. Just a really, really great setup. And I do like that it's made in America. So this will appeal to a lot of you guys for the modularity aspect of it and for the functionality aspect of it. Definitely, if you're going to be accessing multiple cards and cash, I would say this is going to be your most convenient, kind of easy to use system. So yeah, definitely an interesting option. This one probably is the most different of the bunch in that it's, you know, injection molded plastic and flips and springs and has all this kind of fancy stuff in it. So anyways, Flipside wallet, very, very functional wallet. I was impressed at how easy this was to use. You kind of see the little promo videos and you're kind of like, I don't know about that, but really super easy. These cards just, I mean, they work really, really well. A common theme of minimalist wallets is that you can't really access your cards as easy if you're needing to access multiple cards. This makes it pretty easy. Also, can fit, you know, you can kind of jam like your non-standard size stuff in here if you need to, and that'll work. So it won't fit into, you know, like one of these slots, these credit card slots, but you can kind of put some miscellaneous stuff in here in front of or behind the cash if you need to carry something else in your wallet. You could probably, let's see, could I put a key in here? Yeah, so I can even like put a key in there if I need to. Granted, there's nothing keeping it secure in here really, other than obviously when it is closed, it's secure, it's not gonna fall out of there. So, functionality of this wallet, beyond just the cards and cash, you can kind of carry some other little items in here if you want to, but just to note that without using one of these modular accessories, if you put something in here, it's just gonna kind of be loose flopping around. Also, I'll show you real quick, the money clip mechanism is this little plastic clip that kind of you just loop your bills into and you'll be good to go. Next interesting wallet of the bunch is the Fantom. So this is one that wasn't recommended to me by any of you guys because it's actually not even out yet. So this company reached out and offered to send this to me, and I was like, sure. When companies reach out and send me stuff, I never agree to do a review of them. I don't take any money. I've never taken a single cent from any company, just FYI, if you're curious. But I thought this wallet looked cool, so I said, sure, send me it out. I'll try it out and see how it works. It is a cool wallet. It is super slim aside from the money clip, which is removable. So probably if I wasn't using cash, definitely I would take this off because it adds quite a bit of thickness to this wallet. Otherwise, this would be the thinnest wallet of the bunch for sure. This is the carbon fiber edition, which is not currently, as of making this video, the carbon fiber is the only one you get that isn't RFID resistant. The other metal ones are, but this one is not. So to note, just if you're curious and love carbon fiber, this one, as it sits right in this video, isn't RFID resistant. So the thing that makes this wallet kind of unique and different from the rest of the bunch is while it is thin and it is minimal, it has this interesting mechanism where the cards fan out with this little guy. So you put this in here and the cards fan out. So this means that, yeah, you can, without using this little fan mechanism, you can get out whatever card you want, or the front card mainly, by pulling this out. It isn't the easiest thing to use. You can't just put the card in. You have to get the card back in here like this, and then you can slide it back in here. With the right amount of cards, it is pretty secure. It won't fall out. Granted, the problem is if you're not using the right amount of cards, it is kind of, I guess they won't fall out, but they are kind of loose in here. These do come in two sizes. One holds like up to 7 cards, I think, and the other holds like up to 15. This is the smaller one that I have in front of me. So the fan out mechanism, it is a really, really cool theory. I think it doesn't work quite perfect because when I fan these out, I do have some in the back that didn't fan out quite right. I don't think that's intentional, but maybe it is. Maybe it's like a dual fan in the back end, fan in the front. I would expect the cards to fan out like this though if it was working properly, but they seem to fan out like this. But cool design. What I dislike about it is it does have a pretty big footprint. I just noticed actually right here, there is a little hole here that you could like put a little lanyard through or something maybe. I'm not sure if this is coming through very good, but right here in the corner, there's a little hole. So you could attach a little lanyard to this if you wanted to. The money clip, probably I could take it off and bend it, but as it sits right now, doesn't really have this very secure. This is pretty loose in here. So if I was using the money clip, I'd probably do this fold over method or just carry a lot of bills to get a little bit more secure fit. Probably you could take the money clip off and bend it and that would get you a better fit. So anyway, this is kind of a wallet that has some cool factor. You kind of flip it, fan it open when you're going to pay and people are like, oh, that's pretty cool, that's pretty cool. And I just thought it looks cool. The thing is, all this whole mechanism does give it a pretty big footprint relative to something like the Ridge, which does have the smallest footprint of the bunch, but yeah. So very thin here, but the footprint is pretty big. So another option, I'll link to this. I don't think it's available to buy yet as I'm making this video, but by the time this video is up, maybe it will be. And last but not least, we have the Ridge wallet. So this is the titanium version. This is gonna be your most expensive wallet of the bunch, and really the wallet with the least amount of features as well, I would say. So this titanium version is expensive. They do have cheaper options that I think are around 40 bucks that are just plastic. So you can get this wallet a little cheaper, but it also goes up in price pretty drastically to the most expensive versions. What this is very, very simple. There's a little elastic band here and here and here that holds your cards in. Your cards come out the front. There's this little indent here that you push your cards out. So this wallet is really great for me personally because I use a single card. 99% of the time I'm getting my wallet out, it's to access one card. And this wallet does pretty good with that. You slide this out and you get your one card out. Now, if you do need to get multiple cards out, they say you can like squeeze the bottom here and it kind of like fans your cards out like this if you want to. What I've found is that if I'm getting multiple cards out, I'll just kind of like have to shuffle through them until I get to the one I want and then pull that out. So this wallet I would say is the weakest wallet of the bunch. This one and the Trayvax for if you're needing to access multiple cards a lot. But if you are using a single card and you're not carrying like keys or anything else, this wallet, I forgot to mention, the Fantom will not fit random size thing. It is precision fit to credit cards only. So those larger business cards, fishing license, whatever, not gonna fit in this wallet except, you could obviously stick them in the money clip and you'd do all right. The Ridge, you're not gonna fit anything because this is the exact footprint of a credit card, which is one of the reasons I love it so much because the footprint is so small. So here's a credit card, here's the Ridge, exactly the same footprint. But it isn't the thinnest because this here, sorry, like I said, kind of hard to do. We have the thickness of the metal, plus we have the thickness of this plastic insert. It's got to be thick enough for these screws to bite and this kind of like elastic system to go in here. So it's relatively thin obviously, but it isn't the absolute thinnest of the bunch. But pretty good, smallest footprint. And like I was trying to get to, you're not going to be able to put something like this in here because it is bigger than the wallet. So unless you're going to fold something like this and stick it into either the money band, you're not going to be able to carry a bigger thing like you are on some of the other wallets. That brings us to the money band. You have a money clip option or the elastic band, which is what I prefer on this, and that's where you can keep your cash. Obviously, you're gonna have to get all your cash out, flip through it, get whatever cash you want, fold it back up into whatever, quarters, and then stick it back into your band. So for cash usage, not that easy either. But if you're a guy that uses one card and you don't often use cash, then this will work for you. And actually one card, I say one card, but really the way I get one card out is the same in the back. So if you have two cards that you use a lot, you're gonna wanna put them in the front and the back. So that way you can pop this out and either grab the back card and pull that out and use it, or grab the front card. Your middle cards are gonna be a little more difficult to access. Anyway, that's the Ridge. Let's go ahead and zoom out here and I'll show you them all on the table. So here we have the Ridge, here we have the Trayvax, here we have the Flipside, and here we have the Fantom. Yeah, we got them all in the frame here. So you can see obviously the footprint of these from smallest to biggest. I would say without the money clip, the Fantom in the 7-card edition anyway is going to be your thinnest. Probably the Ridge and the Trayvax are going to be your next thinnest, and this is going to be the thickest option. So you got your most features here and it's going to be your biggest. You have the least features here and this is going to be the smallest pretty much. And that's kind of how they break down. Hopefully this video kind of gave you a good comparison of the different wallets that are out there. Again, these wallets are going to appeal to different crowds for different reasons. I see value in all of these wallets. I really like the Ridge. It's my daily driver normally, just because that fits my lifestyle. I like how it looks, I like how small it is, and I only use one card. The Trayvax I like carrying also sometimes, just because I like how it looks. I like when I get the Trayvax out, I'm just like, oh man, it's like cool and it's tactical and metal, and I especially like the OD green color. Granted, most of these come in an OD green color as well, but just kind of something about this feels tactical and cool to me. Flipside, by far the most usable wallet of the bunch, the most feature-packed, great value at around $40, and modular. So you can get this. They have a few different other accessories you can slap on here if you either need more cards or different functionality of it. So this definitely feature full if you're looking for the features. And the Fantom, cool looking, and kind of that wow factor if you want to like flip those cards out and impress somebody. Also carbon fiber, though the Ridge also comes in a carbon fiber edition. If you're into that, you know, you can check that out too. Yeah, feel free to ask me any questions about any of these wallets, because I've daily driven them, I guess you could say, all of them. So I do have experience in all of them. It's funny, while I have my EDC out here, I picked up a Microtech Ultratech. This thing is sweet, completely unrelated to wallets, but switchblades and OTFs were illegal in Colorado actually until this year. So I had never owned one because I tried to follow the laws for the most part, but now these are legal still in Colorado. Sorry, I'm taking a wild tangent, but just because I felt like it. Still, so this blade is under 3.5 inches. In Colorado and a lot of states, it's actually illegal to carry a blade that is longer, conceal carry a blade that is longer than 3.5 inches. So something like the Benchmade Infidel, the regular version, has a blade that's longer than 3.5 inches. So I picked up the Ultratech because it's just under 3.5 inches. So if I wanted to conceal carry this, I can. And has a glass breaker on the tip. Anyway, this isn't a knife review, but I just got this little gadget, and you know, the EDC crowd likes this kind of stuff, so I figured I'd show it off. Thanks for watching, and as always, thanks for hitting that thumbs up button if you found the video helpful or informative or anything like that. Get subscribed if you're not already. Leave comments below about gear that you'd like me to review in the future, or other wallets you think I should check out, or any kind of EDC items you think I should look into. I always appreciate you guys' recommendations. All right, until next time, take care.